Okay, everybody, let's get going. Can I actually get you? I'm sorry to have to do this, but we're going to be working together today as a team. So can I get anyone that is in the very back to actually move forward? Because in order to participate in this game, we all need to be as close as possible. What I need you to do, and in order to prep us for this session, is I need you to let go of what it feels like to be an adult, okay? Because if you ever want to connect with your audience, and in this case we're talking about designing for kids, you're going to have to get in touch with your inner child. So forgive me, I'm asking for forgiveness because this means this is going to be in your head all day, but I think that this is going to be an excellent way to start the presentation. Can I get everyone up and essentially ready to dance? Stand up. Stand up. We have to be a bit silly to get into the mood. Okay, hopefully the speakers work.
Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark, do 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 do, mommy shark.
Daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark, do 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 do, daddy shark.
Grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark, do 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 do, grandma shark.
Grandpa shark, do 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 do, grandpa shark, do 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 do, grandpa shark, do 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 do, grandpa shark. Let's go hunt, do 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 do, let's go hunt, do 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 do, let's go hunt, do 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 do, let's go hunt.
Run away, do 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 do, run away, do 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 do, run away, do 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 do, run away. Safe at last, do 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 do, safe at last, do 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 do, safe at last, do 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 do, safe at last. It's the end, do 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 do, it's the end, do 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 do, it's the end, do 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 do, it's the end.
Yes, all right. Big round of applause for everybody. Don't know if... Please tell me you guys have heard of that song before, right? Probably the most successful kids song of all time. And as I would also encourage little guys, before you can sit down and start concentrating, you need to get up and move. Because if you're not going to get kids to have a little bit of energy drain, they're not going to focus on your games properly either. I called this talk Pint Size and Wise because just because children are small does not mean that they're not super smart. Basically, this talk is going to go over a very, very quick overview. I'm going to try and be as quick as I can so we can get to the fun. The whole talk is based on 3 main ingredients of what I know make mega successful games for kids. And we're actually going to design a game together in real time today so that we can apply some of the stuff that we're learning. Let's go really, really quick. Nobody knows exactly what a game is. For the purpose of today, I'm calling a game structured play with rules and objectives. Because if it's just play, to me, that's not what a game is. And for kids, rules and structure is very important. We'll get into that in a minute. Kids, age 2 to 10. Anything under that, World Health Organization does not recommend too much screen time. And anything above that, they'll be playing Fortnite. So let's not get into that. No, seriously, once kids hit the age of about 11 or 12, they're very aspirational, so they're going to want to play games for adults. Who am I? I'm co-founder and creative director of a company called Atlas Mission. Feel free to check us out. In a nutshell, we're trying to build the most epic video game of all time. We want to create a game that starts with a child from the age of 2 until the age of 15 or 16 and is basically a replacement for the bad schooling system. Okay, kids games. Is anyone really familiar with this industry? Because I don't want to go on too much if you already know this stuff. Actually, let's have, how many people here have kids? Okay. How many people were once kids? Very good. How many people are awesome? Let's get some, yeah, come on. How many people are awesome? Let's hear it. We need energy today, people. You can't all feed off of me. I want to hear it from you as well. Okay, kids games. I think at the last time that I checked this research, there is close to 1 million apps available for download on the Apple App Store, all for the under 5s. 1 million apps that you're going to go in competition with if you're trying to design anything for under 5s. The kind of age group between 5 and 10 is a bit more murky, and it's very hard to kind of tell exactly which games are for which age groups, but just trust me, in order to stand out is very, very difficult in this extremely crowded marketplace. Another thing to know, any parents here will attest, every single age group is different. So I could actually do a talk just on 4-year-olds, or just 5, or 6, or 7, or 8. As children age, they have completely different interests, they have completely different brain power, they have a lot more memory load. So keeping this in mind, I'm not actually going to be covering the different age groups today, because like I said, it would be its own thing. Apart from each age group being unique, you have 2 customers that you always have to sell to. Anyone want to have a guess what that is? It's pretty obvious. Absolutely. Parents don't particularly like fart humor. Children love it. So if you try and do only fart jokes, parents won't buy it. But if you try and make it too wholesome or educational, then kids won't buy it. So it's actually a really, really tricky balance, because I don't know of any other market that requires for you to sell to 2 customers. And when I say sell, it means that they just have to be interested in what you're doing. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to get done, basically I think you can put together a recipe for what will make a perfect kids game. It's not easy, but if you include these 3 ingredients, we will definitely get there. So, okay, whoa. Okay, who wants ball? What is this? Like left, right? Okay, so we're going with ball. One of the things that I've noticed is that this roof is really low. But that let us not deter us, because screen size is also an issue when designing kids' games, so this is fine. Great, okay, I'm not going to put any rules into this at all. I'm just going to start passing this around. Hopefully everyone's paying attention, because I don't want this to hit you in the head. Watch the cameras, okay, respect for the cameras. If you want to stand up, stand up. We're just going to start this game. Let's see what ends up happening. I'm just going to start. Ready? Okay, keep going. What are we going to do with it? You're out, keep going. What do you think is the easiest way to use this game? Let's create a game. Keep going. Involve your team. Okay, so we've got hitting. Okay. What happens if it goes out? Come on, guys. Keep building with me. So we need one person who's going to run out and grab it if it's out of bounds. If it hits you on the head, it still counts. Keep going. Okay. Okay, so you can see we've got a boundary issue here, because we've got this big gap in the middle, which means if we want this to work properly, between left and right, what do you think you guys need to do with your bodies to make it work better? Oh, why don't we try standing up then? Come on. Maybe the mechanic is wrong. Maybe we shouldn't hit. What else could we do? Kick. Oh my god. Okay. That's okay. I think. Can everyone hear me? Yes, I can scream quite loud. Okay, keep going. Well, he's playing a different game. Try and follow everybody else's rule. We're manipulating it around. Much better. Fast. Let's keep going. Oh, we have an obstacle. Okay. Okay, back to me. You're out. Disqualified. Back to me, please. Oh. Hello. Game master. They don't want to give up playing. Thank you. Okay, everyone sit down. That's the first start. Thank you. The core mechanic. Everyone knows that there are mechanics in games, but how do we make sure that a game is suitable for kids? It all comes down to the very first step, which is the core mechanic. If you're designing games for kids, you should be prototyping this in digital and in like board game form, or even like this, because the general concept of your game, you'll already see how it's failing. We have restrictions here. We have a roof. If we didn't have the roof so low, it's possible that your hitting game would have worked better. But the restrictions we have, let's call it screen size, we know that we have to pass. So instantly, we've adopted a different mechanic in order to make it simpler. Because if you try and have 2, notice what happened when you guys were having 2 mechanics? the game wasn't really working. So some people, if they go ahead and keep hitting, then that's screwing it up for the people that are trying to pass. So the most important thing for kids' games is that it is as simple and intuitive as possible. Now, here's an interesting thing. In the game that we just came up with, which we're going to develop, simple meant passing. Intuitive, for most of you, was hitting. This is not unusual when you deal with kids' games as well. You'll often find contradictions between the two. So what would I suggest going for? In this situation, I would probably go for simple, because simple can be learned easier. Intuitive might not always work with the restrictions you have. This is a game that we have called Turtle Swim. Does anyone want to have a guess what the mechanics of this game is? Actual interaction on screen with this game. This is a tablet game. Yeah, turtle is swimming, but how do you move the turtle?
I don't think so.
Arrow keys. Can you see arrows on the screen?
No, we can use that turtle, hold it, and then like the turtle.
You don't move the tab around. That's really tricky for kids. It's a great idea. And in fact, once a week I have someone in my team say, let's tilt the screen. No. Sorry? You swipe. Okay, so you are correct. This game was a swiping game. So essentially what you would do, you've got your lanes, and you would swipe up, swipe down. This game bombed. Absolutely bombed. Why? Because we had adult mentality. We ended up changing it to this. Now, it doesn't look that different. Look at this, and then look at this. But it is a major difference to turn the mechanic into something a lot more intuitive. You'll notice the turtle is bigger. That makes a lot of difference. You'll notice that the seaweed is in a slightly different order. What do you think was the difference between that? Why do you think we changed the seaweed around? Need to speak louder? Well, it's more intuitive, right? You know where you need to move the turtle. It's not a swiping game anymore. It's a dragging game, yeah? Which makes a big difference. So now, you basically drag and physically drive the turtle around. This game is a super successful game. They look identical almost, but the difference in core mechanics made the complete difference between whether kids liked it or not. Had we kept the game with the original mechanic, it would have been not very successful. But because we made that change, seems very subtle, but for kids, focus on the joy of play. This is so, what can I say? Everyone says this, but nobody gets it, okay? So actually, those that chose the ball, you're more likely to have an adult mindset than those that chose the balloon. Why would I say that? Oh, balloons, but kids don't care about that. Unless they've been stunned by balloons before. Here, you've been talking a lot, I'll give you a chocolate. No, it's actually got to do with speed. So again, talking about core mechanic, the ball is about hitting it. It's about objective. The balloon is about, ooh, whimsy. There's no chance I can have of getting it wrong. Here, you guys can play around a bit. It's very slow. It's very easy. You'll notice that they do a lot of balloon play in old people's homes because you don't need physical excellence in order to play with a balloon. You just need to be like, oh, there's a balloon flying, yay. And that mentality is really hard to keep in mind when working with kids because we're like bitter, damaged shells. We can't feel the same joy in play as kids do. So if you can ever, this mindfulness movement that's going everywhere, I call it a joyfulness movement. If you can try and think about what is the pure joy in touching the screen or touching that balloon, then that will actually help you a lot more with being able to design for kids. Okay, so rules and structures. This is the most important thing. Kids love rules. They don't think they do, but they do. If you ever tell a kid, right, this is the rule, you cannot do this, they're not going to go with it. Of course, they're going to rebel. But if you are watching kids on the playground, they will be telling everyone how a game is played. And they will say, no, that's not the rules. I don't know if you've played a chasey game. You're only it if you've been tagged. That is a rule. You can't go beyond the trees. That is a rule. So let's continue our game. Where did the world go? Here. All right, everyone stand up. Okay, somebody at the back, because you guys haven't been very loud, I want you to come up with a new rule. This is a passing game, everyone. Do not change the mechanic on me now, okay? So we're going to pass, we're going to throw. The aim is, I'm going to give one rule, but I want you guys to keep building. We will have up to 3 throws on this side, and then it must go to this side. Up to 3 throws on this side, and it must go to this side. If not, game over, right? Now, can you think of a different rule? When you're throwing it, what is something you could do? Fast. You have to throw with one hand. No hitting. No hitting, stop changing my mechanic. You have to throw with one hand. Okay, did everyone get that? We've agreed, this is a rule, you must throw with one hand. Let's go. 3 times on one side. It's, guys, let me explain the main mechanic. Okay, no hitting, right? It's like working with kids. You'll show me a demonstration of a throw. There, again? Understand? Yes? Okay, very good. Let's try this side now. One-handed throws only, please. 3 on each side. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Now it must go to the other side. Game over. Start again. No points. Okay, let's start on this side now. 1, 2, 3. Must go to the other side. 4. 1, 2. Count with me. 3. Throw. Whoa, out, no points. Okay, what is the limitation we have in this room with this mechanic? The roof, it's a screen. We're going to have colliders on the top of the screen anyway. What can we do so that we don't have this issue when we need to get it to the other side? Roll. Everyone okay with that new rule? Okay, so 1, 2, 3 passes and then we're going to roll. This is great. All right. 1, 2, 3, roll. Very good. Okay, keep going. 1, 2, 3. Gotta roll on the third one, no matter what. Very good. Okay, let's put a time component into it now. Fast. The faster you are, no hitting. The faster you are, the more points you're gonna get. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Roll. Close enough. 1, 2, 3. Oh, roll. How are you going to do that now? Okay, we've got another rule. The third pass, this is a strategy to how to play the game. Third pass cannot be to somebody at the back. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble rolling. Okay, anyway, I think we understand that as we've developed the game with rules and structures, yes, sit down. We're not done with the game. Can I have the world back, please? Ingredient number 2. Storyline and objective. Hands up, who thinks that these are 2 different things? Good, be brave, it's okay, thank you. If it was an adult game, I would agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. When it comes to designing for kids' games, storyline and objective are so closely intertwined that they basically become one ingredient. Okay, so, you don't need to stand up, but I feel more comfortable walking around with you guys. Let's not make this a ball now. Let's actually give us a reason why we're doing this. We've got 3 passes and then a roll. 3 passes and then a roll. But what are we doing this for? Why? Somebody give me a reason why. The more creative, the better. Yes, tell me. To interact with more people. Okay, can we try and make it more kid-friendly? For fun. Yeah, that's a bit more in the free play area. Again, you guys are all focusing on the mechanic. We want a storyline objective here. Yes? To make new friends. Fabulous. Okay. Our objective as the player is to make new friends. Great. Thank you. I think we could probably go a little bit better with the storyline. Why don't we say we have been whisked away to a magical kingdom and we don't know anybody? We come across some local people and we don't know how to communicate with them. So in order to communicate with them, we're going to play a game, which at the end is going to win their trust. And now all of a sudden, it's like we're searching for the elixir of doom and you've got yourself a game. Okay, so the idea here is the reason why we're playing the game is the storyline and the objective is to play the game. I hope you can understand how they become very, very closely intertwined. Why would I say that if you have one or not the other, it's not that great? For an adult game, no problem. Adult. When I say adult, I mean games for grown-ups, okay? Nothing else. So for a grown-up game, why would I say that storyline and objective is not as important? Yeah. And points. And currency. And what can I spend the currency on? And what, like, tally of people can I be on top of the leaderboard for? Yes. Kids don't care about that. They do if they are taught to be that way, but kids naturally are not like that. So, storyline, any kid, if you say to them, again, under the age of 10, don't try this with 14-year-olds, it's not going to work. But if you go up to a kid and say, hey, let's play a game. Okay, we are now in a magical kingdom, and we are defending the orcs from the elixir of doom, and in order to do that, we need to win over the villagers. How do we win over the villagers? We play the game, yeah? Any kid will be on board with that. They're not even going to question it. So the reason why in a game is really important. If you have a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old, the number one word that they will ask is why. Everything. If you've ever seen a 4-year-old, why does this happen? Why is the sun in the sky? You need to clean your room. Why? Why? So you need to keep that in mind when designing games for kids. And the storyline and objective must work together. Okay. Instant feedback. This ties into the mechanic with the storyline and the objective. How would we know in our game whether we've done it correctly or not? So when we've gone to the passing 1, 2, 3, how do we know that we've done it correctly? What's teaching us when we haven't done it correctly? What could happen to the ball? Think about that first. If it's not successful, what happens to the ball? We're trying to pass. Falls on the ground. Goes out of bounds. How could we show that it's not working? How would we show that visually and with sound effects that that's not working, that you haven't successfully passed the ball? What could we do? Color changes? Sure. Don't even need to. You just need to show, boom, with a huge sound effect to show that you haven't made it. And maybe everyone goes, aww, okay? The other side, if it was successful, how would you know it is successful? What would be the opposite of, aww? Okay, so what was it? Yay, there's a hand there too. Okay, great. So we catch it, and the rest of the team would go, yay. Everyone stand up. Let's do this. Now, don't let me down, guys, because we're all part of the simulation. Show me what happens if it fails. Oh. And show me what happens when it's successful. I want to see the hands. Ready? Yay! Okay, here's the thing. You can only cheer for the side that you're on. Okay, so I want to see good teamwork here. You ready? Okay. Yay! Keep going. Go, go, go. It's fast game. Yay! Next. Yay! Roll. Okay. Yeah. Let's think about something else. That was a complete fail. It's all right. We fail in games. So why don't we do something like wah, 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 wah. Okay, if it goes out of bounds, let's try again. Start the game. Yay! 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 Roll. Very good. Keep going. Yay! 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 Roll. Very good. Yay! 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 And to me. All right, now an applause. Yay, we've ended the game. Well done. Sit down. Okay, very good. That is what instant feedback is. Adults don't do it well. Okay, can I tell you that? Adults do not do this well, and kids need feedback all the time. Why? Because adults find it irritating. They don't want to be reminded of everything that they're doing. Kids do. Kids need to know all the time. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing in kids stuff is that they don't actually, like on a tap interaction, they don't show any difference. You got to at least scale up and down that sucker, at least. And for a correct answer, you need to go big. For a wrong answer, you need to go subtle. We were maybe a little harsh. If we go too hard in the wrong answer feedback, what do you think will happen to kids? Need you to be louder, guys, come on. They'll feel demotivated, exactly. So what we've started doing recently, we used to do really quite harsh wrong answers. The thing is, if you do a really fun wrong answers, kids will do it on purpose, so you don't want that. But we were doing quite harsh ones, and we realized that kids get so frustrated that sometimes they'll walk away from the game. So it's really important to go fairly neutral and empathetic. Go with the emotions rather than you suck, right? Because nobody likes hearing that. Okay, rewards. Remember how I said chocolates are an adult reward, a grown-up reward? What do you think is a good reward to give to a kid in a game? Not in real life, because that would be whatever your relationship is. But in a game, what do you think is a good reward to give to a kid? A compliment, yeah? Extra points. Oh, I would say no to extra points, yes? Sorry? Yeah, that's the same thing. Yes, compliments. What else can you do? Think bigger, people. Level up, adult, older. Think bigger. You don't have to go that hard. You don't need to create systems of points and currency. Absolutely not coins. Absolutely not candy. Okay. Happy audio feedback. Okay. More time to play. Okay, I can see we're all still thinking from a grown-up perspective. Fireworks. Okay, you're not doing too badly. Okay. New magical superpowers. Okay, we're getting better. Let's take a step back. The best thing that you can do for a reward for a kid is just let them know that they have a reward in the form of an animation. You can get a kid to play the same thing again and again and again for a stupid, silly animation of a character going, "Oh!" Done. That's all you need to do. Do not bring in coins. I'm begging you. Do not bring in coins. Do not bring in points. Do not bring in candy. Why? It is feedback, but you're setting them up for a lifelong addiction of Candy Crush. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, have you guys heard of instant gratification? Yeah, so hands up, who's a millennial here? Yeah, I think most of us probably are. I mean, how much horrible criticism is on our generation for the fact that we're like, gimme, 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 me, it's all about me. It's not true, but that's what we're being branded as. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say okay boomer right now. But the point is that if you train children on points and on currency and on candy and on gold, that's all they're going to think is worthwhile. Whereas if you only have beautiful animation rewards or unlocking of something, then you will motivate children enough. And I don't know if you've ever seen a little kid play Let It Go from Frozen 100 times on repeat. Kids can deal with the same content again and again and again. Yes, you do need to give them new stuff, but honestly speaking, just an animation will bring such a smile to their face. And one of the best things that you can do is anything that, if you're on tablet devices, is anything that comes straight towards the screen and gives them a bit of a shock. Almost like a Jack-in-the-Box. You know, like kids love those Jack-in-the-Box that boom. So a little bit of shock where they go, whoa, where it's like flown at the screen or whatever. One of our most successful games is called Jumping Jellies, which is about like smashing jellies, which then splits into smaller jellies. And at the end, once you've got all of the jellies, it comes onto the screen and goes down. Kids love it. That's how simple we needed to be in that game, and I thought we would have had to do so much more. Now, save your art time, save your design time, go simple, and you will get there. Okay, this is an example from one of our games. We tested multiple endings. This one was the one that was the most successful. Now you look at that and you think, huh? That's because you're adults, guys. So this is a game basically about getting the robot up to the top of the stairs with your voice. This is a voice recognition game. And it's testing whether kids can read properly or not. And so kids love the fact that they get to, you're talking about core mechanic, use your voice to make the robot jump. The goal and objective is help Hermie to get to the end of the stairs. And the reward at the end is this, and that's it. Really successful games. Honestly, you never know what's going to hit, but sometimes the smallest things can. Okay, character. We have our game. Are we okay with the magical village making friends objective? Are we all down with that? Yeah? Okay. So if that's the case, who is going to be our main character? In fact, I guess I have to be that main character right now. So who are you going to make me be? Because I'm the ball master. So what are you going to make me be? And this is really, really important. You need to have a character in your game. Sorry? A wizard. Cool. A witch? That better have been a W. A wizard, okay. Give me a bit more. Wizard's a bit boring. I'm a wizard of what? Louder, I can't hear you. Does anyone want chocolate? Oh, okay. A wizard of? Much better, thank you. Guardian wizard of the Western Air Temple. Okay. Does that mean that I get like projected around by air somehow? So I like whoosh onto screen? Let's go with that. Can't be scary, obviously. You're dealing with a kid. Can't be on screen for too long. What's going to happen if I'm on screen the whole time? And they can see a ball, but I'm on screen going, "Hi kids, today we're going to play a game." What's going to happen on the screen? What do you think will happen, knowing kids? Yeah. You got it in one. Kids will start tapping on the ball. They'll go, get off screen. I don't want you there right now. Because they can see the ball, and therefore they know what they can do. And this is not going to be ball, this is going to be a golden orb. Yes? So they can see the golden orb, maybe it's jiggling as well, in which case they're like, character. But we need to have this wizard on the screen to introduce the game and to be there for one major reason. What is the reason why I would even say you would need a character to bring the game together? Explain how the game works? Yeah, that's a part of it. Anything else? Right, okay. It's not actually that. They usually don't see themselves as playing an avatar. So why do you think Minecraft is so popular with kids? Because they get to play from the perspective of themselves. Yeah, kids have amazing fantasy imagination. They don't need to pretend that they're somebody else. They can pretend that it's them in that situation. No, it's for one major reason, connection. Kids love things, characters that look like they're designed for kids. You'll notice it. Why do you think McDonald's manages to get so many people in it? It's because that creepy clown. You'll notice it everywhere. If a kid sees a character, anything with eyeballs, I tell my team, if a kid sees a character, they're going to get attracted to it. But then, if a kid sees a golden orb, while they're next to the character, they're like, yeah, I've seen you already, now I want to get onto the fun stuff. So it's really, really important to have a character, and you have no idea how much you can actually connect. I want you guys to watch this.
Let's do something nice. Find someone you love and give them a hug. I'll wait until you come back.
Okay, so this is our main robot called Atlas Finch, and we have this thing called eye exercises. A lot of grown-ups told us that they were really worried that kids would get, eye damage from playing our game because they're on the tablet all the time. So every 10 to 15 minutes, we make them do eye exercises in the form of something like this. Now, this particular one, I brought it here for a connection. I had no idea how much power game developers and designers have with their audience if you're designing for kids. Basically, I've got goosebumps. There was a lady that has 2 kids with severe autism that uses our game, yeah? And she contacted us, or we were in contact with her, and she was like saying, since my kid has played your game, he's started giving me hugs. I've never had hugs from my child. He's autistic, he doesn't know how to connect with people. But for some reason, and I don't know why, since he started playing your game, he started giving me hugs. That is because of that short clip you've seen right now. I have seen kids, we have one eye exercise, which is look at your tablet, now look at the ceiling. What color is your ceiling? I have seen kids look at their ceiling and go, oh, it's white. They think that the character is real. They're willing to suspend disbelief that the character is real to play that game. I do not know a single adult that would play a game and pretend as if the character was actually real, but kids do. Context, that's what you guys were saying over here. In order to be able to explain things. Now, you need to be able to do this, so you need a character that can explain things again and again and again and again when the kid wants to hear it. So context is really important. That's another reason why you'd have a character, and honestly, it can make or break your game. If you're ever thinking of designing a game for kids, make sure you have a really amazing, authentic character. Do not design a creepy clown that says, "Hi kids, come and play with me." Every game of those 1 million apps that are out there will have some creepy character with really, really like ridiculously large eyes with like a shine mark. Seriously, like you can go through the app store and go, yep. All the characters are designed the same as a generic fun thing for kids. I really hope if you take nothing else from this is that when you go forth and you make your own games, that you will try and make authentic characters that feel real. Grown-up games have them everywhere. Amazing characters. Why can't kids' games have the same depth? Kids can handle it. Okay, so those are the 3 main ingredients, but there's also the secret sauce. So if you have those 3 things, you're going to have a great game. But all of these things will elevate it to the next level. The first thing is artwork and animation. Now, a lot of people think, yay, I can make like fun-looking things for kids and it will go well. No. Minimalism doesn't work, so don't try and do anything too modern and too simplistic. What do you think, what is the first instinct that you would think when I tell you about colors? What kind of colors should you use when designing for kids' content? Primary colors, yeah. So wrong, guys. No. What's going to happen to a kid's attention span? What's going to happen to a kid's attention span if they have primary colors shoved at them all the time? They will get overstimulated. You will have tantrums. I am not even kidding. Kids will get overwhelmed. Do you want to sit and look at neon colors for half an hour while playing something? No. Kids are still developing their eyesight. They're still developing their depth perception. So if you make something too bright, it's going to overstimulate them. It will attract them to it first, like any fast food restaurant. That's why they use bright colors like red and yellow. But I would really recommend to you, only use that to highlight things. Don't use that as your main colors. Again, look through every app store. You'll see that creepy character surrounded by primary colors and huge bright colors. There's nothing to rest the eyes. So we try and do games where we have a combination of real pastel colors with a few pops, and then some games that are bright, but we make sure that they're not all that way because you will overstimulate. So yeah, one of the big things is artwork and animation. Don't oversaturate it. Keep it simple, keep it pleasant to look at. Kids' storybooks, the most beautiful ones, they don't use primary colors. They use beautiful pastels and things like that. So that's a big tip. And animation, invest all of your time and money in animation because that is where kids really, really connect with your work. So this is a prototype that we did for a particular game and it didn't do too well. The mechanic did really, really well. It's a shopping game. Didn't do too well. And this is what we actually went for. It actually looks way more saturated here than on my screen. So the things that are bright are the things that you should put into the shopping trolley, yeah? Because that's to tell the kids that they need to tap on it. Just like if you're playing an open world game where they use lighting to show you where to go, the same sort of thing you need to do with color here with kids. Tutorials. Adults love tutorials. The number 1 rule that I was taught with user experience is do not make your audience feel stupid, yeah? With kids, that's doubly so, but they're not afraid to try things. Adults are afraid to try things. Kids are not. So if I'm saying that with tutorials, what do you think would work best for a kid? How would you go about doing tutorials that work for children? Animations, yes. When should you have your tutorial? At the beginning? That's adult thinking. When should you have your tutorials? Have a think. I've said it's not at the beginning of the game. Where would you do it? One at a time, guys. Come on, this is like a classroom. One at a time. No, you've spoken a lot. Yes, somewhere in the back here? But how would you know? Whenever you introduce new things. No, that's not right either. That's adult thinking. With the game, what does that mean? What are you telling the story? No. So the answer is when a kid makes a mistake. That's when you would bring the tutorial in, okay? So you let them make mistakes. Guess what? Kids are happy to participate. Kids are happy to play. So you wouldn't actually bring a tutorial in the beginning. We used to. We used to have a lot of adult thinking, but we realized that kids actually want to tap that golden orb. They want to get really, really busy straight away. They want the chance to fail. So you would never interrupt them until after they've made a mistake. And then you would help them. Hey, this is what you could actually do. And let's give them a hint before you tell them what to do. Because kids have the brain power to be very sophisticated. Testing. Okay, so this is a really big thing. Who here is actually game developers? Can I have a raise of hands? Who's developing games? Okay. Anyone from this side? Great. How often do you test with users? Do you test it? Hands up who tests from prototype already with users? Okay. What about, I guess we're in Agile, what about after sprint 1 or sprint 2? How many people would test with users? Or with beta testers if you don't have users? Okay, how many people leave it until the game is fully developed before they test before release? Okay, then people don't test because you're not raising your hands. I don't know. With kids, you cannot afford to think that you know what's going on. Every single game that I'm like, this will be a hit, 5-year-olds go, nah. Right? No matter how much of my experience and how much of this I bring on, I would never, ever have the ego to believe that I know exactly what kids are going to like, because each and every time they throw me around, and it's amazing because each game you will learn, okay, this didn't work. You know that turtle game I showed you? For a while, I thought it wasn't working. And then I found out that there was a group of 2 or 3 kids that we were testing that didn't like reptiles. So because they didn't like reptiles, they didn't like turtles. And because of that, they didn't like the game. So if we replaced it with a dolphin, all of a sudden the game's a hit. So this is what I mean. You need to test with kids from the very, very beginning. Our games, we test with 200 kids before they get into the platform. So we're testing from prototype every single sprint, and that informs what we're doing. And you need to do that with kids. If you design a game and say, yeah, kids will like this and release, it's not going to work. Right, and the very last thing I would say, this is my personal mantra, which is embrace the silly. So if you will permit me, let's play the last round of our game. Everyone get up, please. Yeah, you've almost fallen asleep because we haven't played it for a while. So what I'd like you guys to do is when a successful thing has happened, instead of just saying yay, I want you to go, yeah! All right. And if it's no, then we'll do the adult thing. Instead of going, oh, I want you to go, oh. Okay, so let's practice that together, because if you are afraid of being silly, ladies and gentlemen, you will never connect with children. So if you're able to harness this energy, maybe not as manic as me right now on like 3 cups of coffee, but if you're managing to harness that, you will connect with kids and you will become a successful game maker for kids. So let's try the yes, okay? So we catch it and we're like, yeah, let's go, come on, yeah. So not good enough. Ready? 3, 2, 1, yay! Okay, and we've failed. Well, I want to see the body language. Come on, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go. Last round of the game. Okay. 1, yay! Keep going. Oh, no. Start from the beginning. Remember our rule set. Sorry. Oh, you were right grooving. Okay. Well, we'll start with this side. Yay! Yay! Keep going. Oh. Yay! Oh. Okay, to the wizard. And now we're just going to do one ending animation. Ready? Let's go. Well done. Give yourselves a huge round of applause for that game. So, in summary, mechanics plus objective and storyline, character and secret source equals mega successful games for kids. It is the most rewarding experience you could ever do. I worked in Bollywood and Hollywood for like a decade, and I left that all behind to get into gaming, and I do not regret a thing. I see 5-year-olds that give me hugs. I can see that we're improving reading scores in low-income children. It makes my life worthwhile. I don't think that you would find a more rewarding audience than designing for kids. It's not easy. I think it's harder than it is for grown-ups, but it is definitely as fun, and you can make the mechanics as good as you can for basically a grown-up game. If you guys like this session, please give me a good rating and let everybody know if you want me back next year or not. But I thank you so much for engaging with me. I know it's a little bit intimidating when you have this crazy person at the front saying, do this, do that, but I really appreciate it. And I hope you had a great time. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.